for a better today. Together we will.
Welcome again to another program of Together We Will. I'm Peter Ramsaroop. Thank you for joining me once again. Tonight, I want to discuss with you the 2011 budget. I know many of you would have listened to the minister yesterday present the 2011 budget to Parliament. In addition, you would have read, many various reports on the analysis of that budget. In my personal opinion, I think it was one of the dullest budget in history in our nation. The budget wasn't for the people. I consider it a budget for contractors, mainly. As I go through the details with you tonight, you'll get a better understanding of what a budget though, for any national budget for a nation should be about the people. And if there's no excitement among the people the next day after the budget is read in Parliament, one must wonder, well, why is the government there? Are they serving the nation? Are they there to spend their money unwisely? Or are they to spend our money in areas where we believe the money should be spent? I'll go through a lot of details on that budget as much as we have tonight, and our phone calls should focus on the budget. I would like you to keep your phone calls for issues on the budget, what you felt the budget should have had in it for you, and what are some of the changes that we must make in 2011 to put us on to the future for 2020, 2015, 2012. One of the big differences in any budget, and I've run large companies before where we had to create our annual budget, and one of the things that before we create the budget is really, what is our vision? What is the vision for our company 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What was missing from the minister's presentation yesterday and in any previous televised issues on the budget, there was not a vision. Not a vision for where Guyana would be 5 years from now. What are we going to do and what will we see 5 years from now for our country? And those are what I believe were some of the key things missing from our budget. So your cause tonight is to focus on the budget, make sure that you have got your thoughts together on what would you like to see in the budget, in our budget 2012, hopefully when we are in government. This is about Guyana. How do we serve our nation? What do we do better for our country? How do we improve the welfare of our citizens? As I go through, I'm going to put up my first slide in the budget here that actually describes some of the details that I believe you should know about. We propose, we being the political parties, especially in the opposition and specifically the Guyana People's Partnership, that VAT should have been reduced to 10% from 16%. Well, in the budget for 2011, the minister or the president basically said to us, the people, hell no, we're going to keep VAT at 16%. We're going to collect $50 billion more than we estimated, but we will not give it back to you. That, I think, was insensitive, and we should have seen a reduction in VAT. Every one of us in our country have asked for a reduction in VAT, and the government refused, and a slap in our face. I know some of us may have be watching cricket in a few, Guyana's playing. You know what a big duck is. We've got a big duck today as citizens with a 0% decrease in our VAT. The tax threshold was increased from 35,000 to 40,000, which is a slight, not a significant increase, but it's a step towards the right direction. We had asked for a tax threshold to be increased to 75,000. So if you're a teacher or a public servant making $60,000 a month, with this tax threshold, the only increase you will see in your salary is about $1,000 plus a month. So you basically got $1,000 a month pay raise from the government after they collected 16% from you. The saddest part of the budget, which I felt heartbreaking when I listened to the minister, and he was so excited when he said, we're giving our pensioners $900 pay raise per month. We had proposed that pension plan should go up to 10,000, old age pension should go up to 10,000. He was so proud to give a pensioner $900 pay raise. You know, if you go to KFC to buy a two-piece chicken meal, it actually will cost more than $900 with your drink and your fries. That means our senior citizens can't afford to go to KFC because that $900 they're going to get may get them to the market, maybe to buy some food for the rest of the month. So as you listen to the budget and as you analyze the budget, those are just some critical issues that I believe we were looking for. Where is the excitement? The president said he will not contemplate or debate in the reduction of VAT. All of us know the 16% VAT is a noose around our neck. It's a vampire, as I call it, around our throats, or a vagabond around our throat. But for the president to say no tax reduction in terms of the VAT, I think is a slap in our face. To give us 5,000 threshold, which gives us $1,000 for the average public servant out there, or some of them less, a month increase in our taxes we pay, or what we wouldn't pay, is also a slap in our face. And then the sad part, as I mentioned again, is on our old age pension. A $900 increase will buy that pensioner a two-piece meal one time that month at KFC. We cannot have that in our budget. The second slide gets a little more into detail on our infrastructure. We had proposed in our plan, our blueprint for Guyana in 2011, that the road to Brazil should be started and potentially completed by mid-2012. In the budget, the minister had no provision so far for the road to Brazil. He talked a lot about the Norway money, and I'll show a few slides on Norway in a few minutes. We had also proposed the start of the Deepwater Harbor in the mouth of the Essequibo so that we can have larger ships, cruise ships, shipping that will come from Brazil into our country. There were $0 to start that project. And with that puts our economy at a standstill, because how are we going to create new jobs for all of us if we are not building the road to Brazil, or we're not building the Deepwater Harbor? But the minister said that we will finish the road to the Amalia Falls. Well, he also said that the Amalia Falls project wouldn't be done until 2015, and we believe that will be almost till 2020. So instead of putting money in the road to Brazil that will create jobs for us today, the Deepwater Harbor that will create new jobs, opportunities, tourism, shipping, logistics, all those things for our country, engineering jobs, instead they're putting more money in the road to the Amalia Falls and the Amalia Fall project. I believe we do need cheaper energy, don't get me wrong, but as the slide, they can put it back up, shows you, we believe that money should be spent on localized hydro plants. For example, in Tiger Hills, in Bartica, there are many falls that would be able to give us cheaper energy, more investment in solar panels, in wind power. That's where we should be spending our money. He did talk about some of those projects that are minimal in order for us to get a significant increase in reduction in energy. We all know our GPL bill is so high every month for us to pay it, and go back to our pensioners again, they can't afford to pay their electric bills. So where is the budget, Mr. President, Mr. Minister? Where is the budget for the people? Why aren't we seeing that? We also propose free school transportation for children. If we are paying 16% VAT, 33% taxes, 5.6 NIS, all of those taxes going into the government's coffers, why then aren't we seeing free school transportation for young children? That's another big duck. And I put actually a couple big ducks there, because our school children are being killed in the speeding minibuses. We need to spend our money on our people. Why aren't we getting back? The government collected $50 billion more from 2006 or 2007 to 2010. but they refused to give us back in the 2011 budget. You know, some of the opposition leaders have said this is an election year budget. I really don't believe it's an election year budget. If it was an election year budget, the government would have given us back some money from the VAT. So they are believing that, you know what, we don't need that money back. They need it more than us for them to spend it on, guess what? Roads. $10.1 billion was spent in 2010 on fixing our roads. And if you're living in industry, Monrepo, Linden, Wismar, wherever you're at, is your road looking like this? But this budget in 2011, after spending $10 billion in repair of roads, the 2011 budget calls for $10.1 billion in repairing roads again. Imagine those same roads will be repaired with our money, our taxpayers' money. Money that was already spent in 2010 will be spent again in 2011. You ask yourself, why is this the largest budget in history? When you hear the government presenting the largest budget in history, you almost need to have a fear in your heart, because where did the money come from? From three sources: revenues, debt, and taxes. Well, we all know a significant portion of that money is from our taxes. So when you see the government spending that money in 2010 on roads, in 2011 on roads, and you're driving through craters, you know your money is being wasted. For public servants, for example, out there, the government gave a 5% pay increase in 2011, which equals about $1,000 again a month. But if you look at the president's budget or his office, they have over 200 contracted employees on top of the public servants. And those contracted employees, in 2010, they budgeted almost $92 million for the contracted employees, while the public servants working in that same office got 5% increase. Well, we haven't seen the numbers yet for 2011, but the president had over 200 extra persons on top of public servants, some making $5,000 to $10,000 US a month. That's how our money are being spent. We as citizens got to stand up. We've got to tell the Minister of Finance, you know, don't waste our taxpayers' money. I repeat every time in this program, Dr. Jagan in 1992, when he took office, a few days later, as you saw in the ad, stop wasting the people's money. And we've got to make sure that this government doesn't waste the people's money. We'll take your phone calls early in the program. Again, the discussion is on budget 2011. What do you believe the budget should have given us, the people? What do you believe our vision for our nation should be? And shouldn't that be part of our 2011 budget? This is a new decade. The minister should have said, you know, in this decade, by 2015, we would have unemployment rate drop to below 5%. We now have a significant unemployment rate. We have a significant underemployment rate. Many people, stores that are being destroyed, the Le Penitence Market, which I knew growing up as a kid, you know, people's livelihoods are being affected. Around the country, jobs, payment of jobs are significantly lower. Big buildings are going up, as we talked about in the last program, but our income is not going up. So the fact is, what is the vision? And in the end of the program, I'll show you some of our plans where we believe in expanding the capital city, going from Timeri all the way to Parika, and probably encompassing piece of Bartica. As we look at the new economic zone, we talk about the Deepwater Harbor, we talk about the road to Brazil, we talk about energy, moving sugarcane into energy. How do we move to cheaper sources of energy, such as wind power, solar power? Those are all critical issues for our nation to rise above the poverty level that we're finding ourselves in. I want to show you, the minister also said that we got the Norway money.